Lab is a program started by Dwayne Blackaller, BCT, where 10 or 11 kids from ages 12 to 18, they get together 2 days a week, 3 hours a day on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and for about 10 weeks they create a play.
You sit down and you start brainstorming for an idea for a play. You start by thinking about images, emotions, words, anything that you might want to include. And we take all those pieces and we put them together in some meaningful story.
Overall, it breaks down to about 60 hours that you have to develop, create, and produce an original 60-minute stage play.
The scariest part of Theater Lab is going in at the beginning and having absolutely no idea what you're going to create and knowing that you're going to have to present it in front of a full audience in a month.
At the heart of it, Theater Lab creates a space that is both safe and challenging, that allows them to learn something about each other, about themselves, and then figure out collaboratively how to share that with people that aren't in that room, with that audience.
You'd think that putting 10, 15 students together all, to write one play with different ideas, different senses of what it should be would not work at all. But there's really this like-mindedness that sort of grows out of it, and everyone shares the same vision by the end of it.
I think what really makes lab productions shine, and certainly the process, is just that it's very collaborative.
If you have an idea, you keep the idea and you fight for it. But if it doesn't work out, then you let it go and you move on.
You just feel the energy of the room. If there are certain things that people get really excited about, there are certain things where people are not so much, and then those things move away. And when you have 8 or 9 or 12 other brains in the room, really kicking out, thoughts and ideas, and you're hearing people kick pitches around and all that, it's impossible to not have something that's totally unique and completely different.
I think a lot of the funniest material that we came up with was during Has Anyone Seen Craig, which was this screwball comedy about a lonely woman who one day people start coming into her house thinking that it's a coffee shop, and instead of turning them away, she welcomes them in and makes them Shasta Cola.
I know Has Anyone Seen Craig, which is probably my favorite project that I worked on, was super collaborative. I mean, it was just like everything in the kitchen sink just got thrown in.
There were so many ideas that were being thrown around that just weren't really viable and didn't make a lot of sense, and we almost reached a breaking point where people just started saying the most ridiculous stuff, and it worked. We just put all the ridiculousness into the play, and so I really loved that writing process.
I mean, my character in, I think, our last Theater Lab that I did, I was a pregnant, chain-smoking health inspector. Oh, with a gun. I forgot about the gun. That's a pretty good image.
Some of the students that you think are so reserved and quiet say something beautiful and amazing, and you watch the class erupt, and that's what we live for, is that sort of thing.
The whole environment of lab is very supportive.
They make the environment really encouraging. It's very kind and it's very respectful.
Kindness is the number one virtue that we espouse. It's very risky to get up and say anything in front of anyone, especially something you've written. Creating a safe space where people know that when you come into this place, you don't get any judgment about your belief system, you don't get any judgment about what you long for in your life, the struggles that you have personally or at home.
Kids are often in circumstances where their voices don't have a particular outlet, or there are things that are deemed inappropriate, or questions they're not allowed to even ask.
And what I love is that Theater Lab doesn't tell you what to think. It asks you, what do you think?
And Theater Lab creates not just a place for kids to explore whatever may be compelling them, challenging them, interesting them, but asks them to turn that into art that can be shared with the community.
My favorite thing about Theater Lab is probably getting to meet everyone.
I've made so many friends here, lifelong friends.
Theater Lab is such an intense bonding process. You know, you're really stressed together, but then you have a lot of fun together. The adrenaline and the love is just everywhere.
And you can see undeniably this sort of beautiful kind of, I've found my tribe revelation moments that happen for these kids.
My fellow Theater Lab students are so important to me. They're like another family, you know?
They find a home, they find friends, they find family, bonds that last lifetimes.
Our teachers are artists who all have professional experience. Everybody has their own strengths. Heidi Cray is amazing with words and amazing with play structure, and she's so incredibly gifted. She is an absolute champion of the students' story ideas. She asks them, really, what is the story you want to tell, and helps them tell that story. Jen's fantastic. Jen is the kind of person who can give a little guidance from the outside and really help students hone their performance ability.
Asking a lot of these kids is part of why the program is so great. There is real artistic work happening, and the teachers are holding these kids to the same kinds of standards that we hold our professional artists to. And they rise to it. It's really cool to watch.
Oh, I love my teachers in Theater Lab. I love them so much.
Dwayne he's just been such a huge supporter in everything that I do.
He's incredible. He's a great teacher, and, he's a massive 12-year-old at heart.
I've worked with Heidi and Jen, and they're also just so supportive and the kindest people I've ever worked with.
They've become close friends and people I can talk to.
I feel like I'm a guidance to them, and more than just theater. It's working through problems in life, in love, difficult moments that they may have encountered, and to help them figure those out on paper and then express them through art.
They really do care about you, and you can definitely feel that.
So I've seen this program affecting students by bringing a ton of leaders out of a student body that may not at first know what they mean to the world. They're figuring out who they are, and they're leading each other to be better people.
I think it gave me quite a bit of self-confidence to put my ideas out there, to perform in front of an audience, and to really go for the things that I wanted to do in life.
I'm typically a very shy and quiet person. However, when I'm on stage, something just changes, and you get this confidence along with that, like not only on stage, but it has helped me in real life. I mean, I'm still a very quiet person, but in college or presentations, I don't sweat about it anymore. It's like, oh, it's just, I've performed before, I can do this.
I think I have a more positive outlook on life now.
It doesn't just teach you about theater or performing, but it also teaches you about how to be a better person.
I grew a lot from this program.
I don't think there's any question that every kid that comes through the program has a new, expanded understanding of their own place in the world, their ability to connect to other people that are their peers, and their ability to share something that's seen as really valuable by the greater community. That's a pretty beautiful thing. Scholarship program is a hugely important part of how the whole thing is possible.
The simple story is that I could not have become a theater artist had it not been for scholarships. So we are committed to make sure that the students in need get some help. We try and keep costs low so that students can afford to come, and hour for hour, it's one of the cheapest programs in the Valley, and we want it to stay that way. It's not possible to do a program like this without community support. So what I'd like to say to our supporters and the people who contribute to BCT Theater Lab, the first thing is thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would just say thank you.
lab changed my life. I mean, I eternally grateful for all the people that make lab possible.
I can't even put it into words what the program has done for me, and just without them, I honestly don't know where I would be.
It's impacted so many teenagers' lives, and I would even go as far to say it saved some lives.
I am so grateful to everyone who has helped to make this program possible, because nothing like it existed in Boise before.
Your contribution is opening the door for a student to ask the big, bold questions. Who do I want to be in my life? How am I going to make the world a better place? How can I be a better leader? How can I be a better friend? How can I be a part of this community? You're making better future people.
Thank you!
That was totally natural.